What is the only commodity that we have that we can't ever attain more of? Our time. This is why so many things in our life compete for it. 4,717,440. That's roughly how many minutes we've tolerated in school with worrying about homework in order to sit on the stage tonight. As we kiss these days goodbye, I want you to remember your 5th grade year and how much fun it was. Do you remember all the deep school lunch conversations we had and how many times you won and lost tag on the playground and all your records on the cool math games? Odds are you don't. The biggest significance of our 5th grade year was its role as a stepping stone towards this moment. The same can be said about 8th grade. You may remember more of your 8th grade year today, but in a few years, those memories, except for the Snapchat ones, will fade out of existence. Again, the most important part of that year was what we accomplished by getting to high school. As we leave here today, I hope you all can reminisce on the old memories, perhaps with the exception of quarantine, and enjoy the ones from this year. Quarantine was a very bizarre period in most of our lives, but I did have one big lesson I learned, and as a result, it's the inspiration for this speech. COVID hit towards the end of our freshman year, and I remember the moment I got the news that school would be closed for at least the next few weeks. My mom walked into the living room as I was lounging with my siblings, watching some TV. And the second she told us that school was going to be canceled, I was jumping down on the couch, absolutely overjoyed. In the months afterward, most of what I remember from that time is video games for 10 hours a day, mixed with some crash course videos for Mr. Llano ISD, and those terrible Zoom meetings. For all that work and play, as I'm here tonight, almost all of it is forgotten. All the video game progress is now meaningless, but by doing my work and putting in a little time to do what needed to be done, I'm able to stand here today as salutatorian. Fast forward to today, the day we never thought would arrive. As many of you enter the workforce as full-fledged members of society, or at least wait 4 years in college before doing so, I would like a moment of your time to talk to you about your time. Over the course of a 24-hour day, a third of it we've spent sleeping. At least it should be now that we don't have any more policy paper sections for Distiller to start the night before. Another third will be traded in exchange for money, which leaves the last third for you to put towards the most important things in life. Important things such as building relationships, enjoying hobbies, and scrolling TikTok. I know for a fact some of us spend hours and hours scrolling and scrolling every single day. At the end of an afternoon in bed doing nothing but scrolling, I challenge you to recall even 10 videos before you roll over and doze off. It's crazy how fast the hours go by when you're on your phone, and what is there to show for it? As we move on in our lives, I would implore you, my classmates, to not be so careless with your time, especially those of you planning on going to college. On average, you will spend around $60 or more a day, including the weekends, simply for the privilege of attending your institution of higher learning. The next time you see them, ask your parents and grandparents how fast their lives went by. I asked my mom about this recently, and she told me she still feels like a kid when she looks in the mirror, only to be surprised that she's in her 20s. The funny thing is that my mother and her generation lived their lives to the absolute fullest without the ability to waste time by the means of a scrolling apparatus like TikTok. I really wonder how fast our lives will pass when we can accidentally open an app, blink like 4 times, and lose an hour of the day. Let's face it, most of us will not be rich and afford the luxury of not having to work. This means time down the drain for the demands of work, time down the drain for sleep, and time down the drain for other responsibilities, which are only going to pile up as we get older. Why would we allow out of that tiny sliver of our life that we have to ourselves, that precious time, to be pillaged by our phones? I don't know about you, but that does not sound like the way to thoroughly enjoy life. While describing the brevity of life, James 4:14 says, "You are just a vapor that appears for a little while and then vanishes away." At the end of the day, our lives are just another stepping stone towards eternity with Jesus, with the sole purpose of helping others and having God's will be done. And if you don't believe in that sort of thing, All I can say is this message is even more important for you because this is the only life you will ever have, so make the absolute best of it. To the class of 2023, I wish you all full, long, and fruitful lives. Thank you.